What's up, fight fans? Your boy P. Welsh here, bringing to you UFC Fight Night. Bautista, Oliveira from the Apex. Coming off an average week, couple tough matches, but we're ready to rock and roll this week, starting with the women's bantamweight. Segula versus Cachoeira. Segula 7-2 versus Cachoeira 13-7. And yeah, kind of split on this one. Gonna do kind of quick picks. I like Segula here, not by a lot. I think Cachoeira is a live dog, but she just lacks the ground game, I think. I don't think Segula is as good as a ground, a grappler as the other opponents as Cachoeira. So I do think that's where she can actually edge out a win here and is a live dog. But yeah, I kind of like Cachoeira here. I think the pick is a Segula, but you root on Cachoeira. I think this one goes to the decisions. I think this one goes to the fight scorecards. I think this is extremely, extremely close fight. Like I said, split decision all over it. I think Cachoeira's just got a lot of dog in her fight and a lot of fight in the dog. So I think that's where this one becomes a little bit not as straightforward. But I think if Segula can get the takedowns and dominate, I think it can be very close, and that will enough to get her like the decision win. I like Segula by decision. Next up, bantamweight bout. We got freaking the cheater Gafarov, 5 pounds overweight. Unreal. Versus Willings, Jacob Willings, who beat Patchy Mix in his debut. And I was on Willings a lot earlier in the week, and that weight cut really kind of bums me out because Gafarov's a dog, and not like that. He kind of owes me too in a way because he's been kind of not doing the best, but he has done me well. But I thought Willings was going to be live here for a submission, but he has bad takedown defense, and I thought he might be able to catch Gafarov, but I think Gafarov will be much better. I can't go against him like 3 times in a row. I really wanted Willings. I do think Willings has a chance to win by a guillotine here, like very, very like sneaky guillotine. Gafarov is really reckless, but I just think it's going to be so hard to actually get one of those, and his takedowns are going to be relentless. He's already 5 pounds overweight, so if Willings wanted to establish any of that, he's just going to be in a worse position to start. Like I said, I do think Willings by sub is live. I think even finish no bet or something like that. This one should go back and forth. Not one I really as excited for it with the weight miss, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still back and forth because like I think Gafarov like 3/decision is definitely always the play, but I think Willings at some point could catch him with a guillotine, live for that submission some point, but like it's not a spot you really want to be in. So we're going Gafarov here, 3/decision. Next up, women's flyweight, Wang Kong, 8-1 versus Eduardo Moria, 12-1. Both ladies coming off a win. And yeah, this is a spot. Moria cut her hair off, dyed it up like Charles Oliveira. And man, I think this is a Kong Wang spot. I think Wang by finish is really awesome. I just think she's going to come out here with something a little bit more to prove. She's fought a couple really decent fighters since her upset loss to Fernandez, Bruna Brazil, and Lipski da Silva. But I really do think this is a Kong Wang spot. I think she could finish it early, late. She has some power that she showed on the road to the UFC finale, and I think this is a spot where she sees it. Both ladies coming in a little bit overweight, but missing weight, and I think that's advantage Wang. I think, yeah, I just think she's in the spot. She's a heavy favorite for a reason, and I just don't think Moria really got that much in there. I mean, her last recent fights: Lauren Murphy, Veronica Harvey, Denise Gomes. And even before that, nobody too stellar. I mean, not saying Wang's not the same, but those last 2 opponents that she caught wins off of after a loss is enough for me to have high confidence, and I think she could even catch a finish here. Next up, bantamweight, we got Javid Basharat. We got both Basharats coming off 2 losses. Loss to KO, or to Ricky Simone, and then he lost to Albazi. No, not Albazi. Ayman Zahabi versus Gian Vasquez. 13-4-1, making his UFC debut, and yeah, kind of getting handed to a dog here. I just don't see how this guy how he handles Basharat's grappling. It's pretty next level. I'm not a big Basharat guy, especially after the last 2 performances. And we've done. I don't even remember. You got to go check the VODs. I think I picked them both, but actually bet against them in real life. So he's actually cashed me pretty good. And this is another spot I want to fade him, but I think Basharat gets a sub here. I think Basharat gets a decision win, a late finish. He's got to do something, man. You can't have like they've even the Victor Henry no contest when he kicked him right in the nuts. I remember that canceled against Gutierrez and Nurmagomedov, Saeed. Guys that are super high caliber. Just again fed this guy. He's coming in a little overweight, but he should be able to. I think submission/decision is the way to play. I think Basharat has a chance to finish this guy if he catches him in a bad spot. Just next level grappling compared to this guy, who's probably more of a striker. And so Basharat the pick, and not too excited about it. Next up, women's strawweight bout: Bruna Brazil 11-5-1 versus Katlin Sousa 15-6. Both ladies coming off a win. And, I like Sousa here. I think Sousa can KO Brazil. I think coming off a couple tough losses to a couple tough female fighters, she was in both those fights. I think she's going to rebound very nicely here. I think Bruna Brazil is past her peak. I just don't think she's that good. I've never been the biggest fan. I think she always just fights close fights, and I think Sousa does more damage, is more athletic, and has more of overall ground game, overall striking game, and maybe not as much experience, but I don't think that does. I think she's a hungrier fighter. I think she's got more of the finishing upside, and I like Sousa here in a big bounce-back spot. I just don't want to be on a Bruna Brazil. She's been finished. She's been decisioned. She could probably get subbed if the person goes enough for it, and I just like Sousa here. Sousa, any way possible on the money line. Honestly, I don't even know what the odds here are. I didn't study them that much. -148. Love it. Let's go. Next up, a fight I could care less about: Veretennikov versus Nico Price. Veretennikov, Nico versus Nico here. What are they doing? Veretennikov can fight for 7 minutes. Price has 7 kids, so he's here for a paycheck. Take your pick, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Probably Veretennikov by finish. Round 1, round 2 is probably any way you would want to play this, but he's 36 years old. I don't know, man. This one is just disgusting. He probably should have lost to Prado, too, who's a lightweight fighting it. Honestly, maybe even a featherweight. Prado can maybe even make featherweight if he dieted. I think Price can snag an upset here. It's not something I want to pick. I probably should, though. He owes me a little bit, but I don't know, man. I can't. Am I really picking Veretennikov here? Jeez. Oh, my gosh, dude. What are they doing to us? I got to, man. There's no way I can pick. I don't know, man. Price is fighting for his family. Maybe many years ago, he's got a great chance, but, losing to Themba Garimbo is just not a place you want to be in. So I'm going Veretennikov. Let's just move on to another one I really don't want to touch. Morono versus Don Checo. Morono even fought Price. That was Price's last win. So how washed are all these guys? I like Don Checo 1-2 KO. I do think somehow it could make it to the 3rd round, so I'd play it for all 3 because Morono's a little cheeky like that, but this Don Checo guy's got serious power. If he's going to get Morono out, he's likely going to get him out in the first 2. I can't see Morono catching a submission anywhere. I can't see him even fighting that consistently. Like you said, yeah. Carlos Leal's knocking you out, and Carlos Leal's getting knocked out by Saidakov. I know MMA math don't really work out like that, but I just think this Don Checo guy's just going to go forward. So I think the fight ends by KO is solid because if Morono does counter check this guy, maybe he comes in so fast, but I think Morono's chin is dust. I think Price is dust. There's a couple dust dudes on this that they're trying to get out of here. And speaking of dust, Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. That's insane. Jacoby 21-9-1 coming off a win versus Julius Walker 7-1 coming off a win. And kind of like Jacoby by KO here. He's got to get it fast. Jacoby 1-2. He could probably get it a little bit later that it goes, but I think the later it goes, the better Julius Walker will look at. But, man, that last fight, how can you trust somebody like Julius Walker, dude? How can you trust somebody like him? Maybe he can find Jacoby's chin, but, dude, I'm not Dustin. I've watched Dustin Jacoby now, half a dozen fights in the last few years. I'm not betting against him, even if he's been finished, even if he loses. It's just not some place I want to be in. So, granted, the other guys he's fought are a little cans, but maybe Walker is too. We really don't know. Walker's fought one person, Alonzo Menefield. And yeah, so I got Jacoby here. I think Jacoby can knock this guy out. I think if not, it could go to Walker decision, which not a spot I really want to bet on, right? But a spot I can see happening. Just because that's how cautiously he's fought in his first two fights, especially against high-level competition. But I think the short octagon is going to be a problem for him. I think the other two fights, they were both in fight nights, but they could have been at bigger facilities. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I have to look it up. It says Las Vegas, which makes me think it's the Apex. And the other one was in Seattle, so that was a big octagon at least. So, yeah, I think the small octagon, now it's Cercaria. So, Jacoby KO, let's go. Another spot here, bantamweight, Gene Matsumoto, 17-1, coming off a win, versus Farid Basharat, 14-0, coming off a win. And, man, I love Matsumoto so much here, man. I really think he can snatch a neck and get a finish here. I might even put half a unit on it at some point. I just worry about him being just taken down relentlessly and just not being able to come up. Like, it's one thing to shoot a guillotine. It's another thing to hit the guillotine against somebody that's never been finished, somebody that fights the way that they do fight against guys that, again, these Basharat guys are always so sketchy to me. I'm not comfortable with the price tag. I'm not super confident. I think at any point, this guy Matsumoto can come in here, and you're looking at the third round, and it might be tied 1-1, and you're like, he's going to be the better striker in the third round. Like, is that where you really want to go? But if Basharat gets one takedown in the third round, is that all that it's going to take to win the round? So that's where I think we kind of leave this fight. I don't know if it's necessarily split decision, but it's definitely like 29-28. Basharat, but I could also see something where he just can grapple for 3 minutes because Matsumoto's grappling defense is very porous, but because he does shoot, he's got high level in that guillotine, so he has caught one of those before against Dan Argueta, so maybe he can snag another one. And maybe he is Basharat a better grappler than Brad Katona? This is where we have to this is a really big litmus test for Matsumoto, which I'm high on. I will probably put some on his money line 3/decision. I think at some point he could catch the guillotine. He could finish this guy just being a better grappler, and over the course of 3 rounds, I'm not going to take the price tag on him, and I like Matsumoto a lot. I'm really high on him. I think he's got incredible. I think he's the better striker. I think he's got better kickboxing, and if he can do some damage early on and really, I don't know. I have low confidence in trusting the Basharats, and I'm high on Matsumoto. And he's one of those things that I can't believe these matchups in a way. So we'll see how this one plays out. Like I said, my official pick is actually going to be Matsumoto here because I will lay half a unit on him. I love him. I just can't trust Basharat here. I'll pick the other one because he's on a rebound spot. But this Matsumoto's a way better fighter than the opponent of the other brother, Gianni Vasquez. So I think this one is way closer to a pick'em fight. I think Matsumoto like 120. So I think there's just a lot of value on Matsumoto here. I think the longer the fight goes, he's got a chance. And again, it could be Basharat 3 rounds, 3 takedowns. I think that's a spot where if he does succeed, he might get a few takedowns and maybe, not win the round unanimous. But I like Basharat to take him down. I like Matsumoto to have some submission attempts, get up. And outclass in the striking, be very close. I think Matsumoto by split decision is going to be the official pick and going to be the result, but I can see Basharat winning. Next up, Oli Sekchek versus Marc-Andre Barriault. 21-9 versus 17-10. I mean, how can you pick Barriault here? Another guy that's dust. Oli Sekchek by KO. Maybe give him the third round to work. But, dude, he's got some serious power. He's not really making it out of the first or second round too much. Maybe Barriault can catch him backwards. So the fight to end straight up by round 1 or 2 or by KO anyway is a safer play. Yeah, but Oli Sekchek 1-2. Oli Sekchek KO. Yeah, even play him KO 1-2. You could. I like this spot a lot, man. I think he's got some serious power for this middleweight. The southpaw stance is just super nasty coming in. Not a lot of guys are handling that the way that he's walking them down. He's pressuring them, and he's got some pretty good length overall. Being 6 foot with the 74-inch wingspan, it's a pretty noticeable game plan when you see him go in there. And unless he's really threatened with a takedown or, something like that, which he hasn't been in a while and not where he's been training, I think this is always a check all day. Not even worth talking about too much. I love Barriault, too. He's, he even cashed us against Bruno Silva. So, we've had some success, but man, oh man, I like Oli Sekchek here to do some damage. Another heavyweight bout here. Oh, dude, Jalatin Almeida versus Rizvan Kuniev. Almeida 22-4 coming off the loss versus Kuniev 12-3-1 coming off a loss. Great bounce back spot on the odds for Almeida. I think he can get it done anyway. I think the loss to Volkov was warranted and granted and deserved. And yeah, Kuniev losing to Curtis Blades. I remember that fight. That fight was so sketchy. I think that was the Azerbaijan card. So yeah, I like Almeida here. Anyway to Sunday at -162, a great parlay piece. I think definitely worth like half a unit with some other guys today because there is just no way this guy just doesn't get on top. He doesn't take him down. He doesn't grapple him, doesn't TKO him. So I think Almeida inside the distance is super live. I also could see another boring 3-round fight where it's freaking like last week in a way where you got Teixeira versus Tuivasa where it's just one-way traffic. And so that is definitely a possibility. That's why I like Almeida on the money line as a parlay piece because I really do think that's like his avenue of victories. He's just a better fighter than this guy. And Kuniev, like Blades is a mental case when he gets in the octagon. He just doesn't have that killer instinct that you really need to put people away and not almost lose fights like even Almeida does in a way. So I think Almeida knows he needs to do more damage. He'll be punching, he'll be grappling, he'll be trying to get a finish here and back up in the rankings. So I got Almeida all day. Next up, flyweight bout here. Amir Albazi 17-2 coming off that loss off the injury. And then you got Horiguchi off the big win against who was that? Ulanbekov got the late finish. Kind of gassed out Ulanbekov there. You don't got to worry about that with Horiguchi. Super experienced and big favorite coming in off that win against Albazi, who, again, I feel like is in a great bounce-back spot. Not super confident in it. It's just one of those spots. It's like, dude, he's got to fight better sometime. Right? He's too good of a fighter not to fight better in a spot like this against somebody that is potentially vulnerable. So, he lost to Moreno over a year and a half ago. I think he's had even more time to, and he didn't win the fight before that. So I could see, but I like him here. I think he can get a takedown. I think he can get him in a bad spot. I think Horiguchi can make a mistake and get caught. It's not a spot. I know a lot of people are all on Horiguchi. You might be one of the only people picking Albazi here, and I'm fine losing on Albazi here. Just one of those spots that stick out to me where it's like, yo, this like. We run this back a different time. Run this in the random number generator. How many times does it come up like this? And I feel like it's wise. You got to take the Albazi pick. It's just like it's not a jackpot, but it's just like it's the odds of hitting a jackpot. It's like, okay, in what universe in 2026 you got Horiguchi -300 against a +280 Albazi? It's like you got to take Albazi here. Take the chances, bro. He's got to return the form at some point. The guy is still in there. Like he's not that bad. And he's got to be more healthy than he was previously, like to come back in here. Because if he fights like shit here, he's not gonna win. Like he might not even be in the promotion anymore. They are probably not high on him like that. So I like Albazi here. I'm picking Albazi. I think he comes back. I think he gets a gritty victory. I think he gets his hand raised. I think it goes to the scorecard. I don't think he can get the finish, but Albazi 3/decision. Let's go, baby. Next up, the main event. And what a main event we got here. Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. Bautista 16-3. Coming off a loss to Umar. Oliveira 23-3. 4-0 in the UFC. Wins over Phillips, Nurmagomedov, Simone, and Sopaj. Bautista has a chance to grapple here. Losses to Umar previously beat Patchy Mix and Jose Aldo, Ricky Simone, Damon Blackshear. And, yeah, this one I've kind of been back and forth on. I mean, I hate picking against Bautista, but is this a spot that we have to fade Bautista? It's not a spot I really want to pick and fade Bautista. He's a nice guy, man. I've really grown to love him since he just held Aldo against the cage. And, a lot of friends have forgiven him, some haven't. And those who haven't are picking Oliveira here. Those who have, I think, are picking Bautista, and I can't either way. I haven't forgiven him for that because I just blame Jose Aldo. But is Oliveira going to come in here and be a different kind of athlete than Bautista is able to handle? I think Bautista has a clear advantage in the grappling game. If you watch those Umar scrambles, he has got some next-level athleticism, some next-level heart, and some next-level ability to get finished. I think if he does I think he can sneak a sub in here, dude. I think that is kind of the spot where I would want to take a chance. I just think over the course of 3-4 rounds, The thing is, Oliveira is such an athlete. So I think this fight doesn't go to the decision is pretty strong, but at some point I don't want to pick Mario Bautista not to go to the decision just because like if he gets in such a comfortable spot, he's such a experienced now 32 years old, been in some absolute wars against some absolute legends. I like Batista 4-5 decision. I think he can wear on Oliveira early, win it late where it's not even a contest, and you're just like, man, how is this guy barely a favorite? And he's legit. And I think that's what some people are gonna actually say after tonight. He should go fight some, and this is one that I think will take him to the next level. Want to go take a look at the rankings here, do a little summary for the UFC on who I would like to see him face next, and see like what the division would look like. For bantamweights, he can go fight Zahabi, Song Yadong, Cheeto. He can fight anybody above him. He can go fight Corey. Corey would be a great matchup. So something like that if he wins. Vinicius is great, but I think he's more on the level that like go fight him like Figueiredo. Go fight him Song Yadong. I think Batista's a little bit too good for him and a little bit too good of a upwards trajectory right now to be a very close fight. Be a very good one. Could be completely wrong. But yeah, I'm going Batista here. Batista 4-5 decision. I think Oliveira's got a lot of pop, but I think he's got to fight guys that make mistakes, fight guys that aren't have a path game plan. So which Batista is gonna implement very strongly, have high confidence level, rebound. So I like Batista here. I think we're getting a good value piece in that price tag, and we're gonna see him late, shine late. Do a quick recap. We're gonna start with Segula here. We got Gafarov, Kong Wang. We're going Javid Basharat, Caitlin Sousa, Veretenikov, Don Checo. We got Dustin Jacoby, Gene Matsumoto, Michael Olizejczyk, Jaltin Almeida, Amir Albazi, and Mario Batista. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry the video's late. Had some, just scheduling changes that I had to take care of midweek, so I had to bring it to you Saturday. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you made it this far. Leave your comments, picks in the comment section. If you predict 100% right, I'll give you $100. Thank you guys so much. Take care of yourselves, your friends, and your family. Peace and love.